Okay folks, welcome to another Friday Waffle. How many times have I said that phrase? Do you not get sick of watching the waffle? You must do. I mean seriously, what else can I be saying? I've been making these waffles now since 2013. I mean, I must have run my course, and I'm going to ask a serious question. Do people still enjoy the waffle? Honestly. I'm assuming if you're commenting you're going to say you do, and I suppose the people that don't want to watch it aren't going to watch it and therefore are not going to comment, so that's probably a stupid thing. But yeah, I do. It's one of these things. I always think that everything does have a sell by date. You know, you don't want to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I think if I was to retire the Friday Waffle, nobody could ever say, or I couldn't ever think to myself, oh, I gave up too easily, because, I've been doing it now it'll be coming up for 10 years. Maybe what I should do is look to see when I did my first Friday Waffle, and then keep it going for 10 years. But then you do know that I'm going to keep it going beyond that anyway. But let me know, do you still enjoy the Friday Waffle? I mean, out of all the videos that I make, it's probably it's got the least number of views, which I completely understand, because it's not something that is really going to be watched by anybody other than people who are regular to the channel. Most people that watch the Waffle have probably been watching my channel for a long time. They kind of know what I'm about, they know who I am. Because yeah, you're not going to stumble over the Friday Waffle and watch it, because quite frankly it's dull and uninteresting. But yeah, anyway, I hope you're all good. I'm just burping. I had a fish supper earlier on. Do you not find that as you get older, your lack of being able to eat food gets worse or gets better? Yeah, what I should say is your ability to consume food is more difficult. I mean, I find that, years ago I could have eaten a fish supper absolutely no problem, but I find now, as I've gotten older, even halfway through it, I've had enough. Don't know why. I've never been one for having a massive appetite, I must admit. By the way, you can hopefully see some DVDs at the back of me. When I moved into this house, when was it? August 18, so I've been here 4 years now. Wow. I was going to get rid of all my DVDs. I thought, why am I hanging on to them? Because I've got Netflix, I've got Prime Video, God knows what else. I thought, why am I going to hang on to DVDs? And then I thought to myself, well, you know what, I'm not going to selling them. You're going to get pennies. I mean, you can go to CX and pick up DVDs for 50p. So then I thought to myself, well, come the apocalypse, when the internet goes down, as long as I've still got a DVD player, which I technically don't have apart from a PlayStation 4, I can still watch films where everybody else, when Netflix goes down, nobody else can watch films, but I will, because I've still got all my DVDs. And you know what, there's something quite nice about kind of still having them. When you think of all the money, when you think of the money that you spent over the years on DVDs, I mean, when I think back to I can still tell you my first ever DVD that I bought online was Braveheart. It'll be there somewhere. And it was, I can't remember, I think it was from Amazon. Back in 1997, there was Amazon was just the place you bought DVDs. It didn't you never knew it as selling anything else. I mean, it sounds ludicrous now. I mean, Amazon sells everything. But back in 1996, it was 1997 when I first got the internet, there was two places you bought online for videos. There was Amazon and there was Play.com, which was in Jersey. So it depends on what video it was, the prices. I would buy it from either or. I used to buy all the director cuts and all this kind of bollocks, and you know what, I don't think I've watched a single director's cut of DVD. Crazy. I was going to say something else, and I've completely. I should really make a wee list of stuff to talk about. Anyway, I'll just make it up as I go along. Gaming wise, this week I've been using this, and I'm going to do a video. Obviously, there we go. At long last, the Steam Deck has arrived. It's lovely. It really, really is. I'll let you see it later on in a proper video. It eventually arrived. When did it turn up? Was it Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, it turned up. It arrived in the UK on the Monday, and I didn't get it until the following Tuesday. It was getting to the point where I was going to be contacting Steam and telling them that this thing's disappeared. I'm not going to get it, but yeah, it's great. When I first got it, first thing I did obviously was put emulators on it, and I was having a few issues, but that's just me because I'm a bit stupid. Got it working now. I mean, it's ridiculously powerful. I mean, you can play. I was playing Mario Kart on the GameCube. No, on the Wii version of Mario Kart, and it plays absolutely flawlessly. And you know, obviously, as far as playing Steam games, it's awesome. Really, really good. So yeah, I mean, if mobile gaming is your thing, then I would go and check it out. You know, it is quite a bit of money. Don't get me wrong, but I'll do a proper video. So what's been to kind of adopt Del Boy's thing in the news this week? Every single morning, you know, the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, you check your phone, and on my phone there's always headlines from the Telegraph. Now I don't subscribe to the Telegraph, but for whatever reason, you get a headline, and every single morning we're getting closer and closer and closer to a nuclear war. I mean, the one that I saw this morning said that Russia was, I think they were saying Russia is telling the rest of the world to brace themselves for a nuclear attack. And it's, when I think back to the 80s when we were going through the Cold War, I remember the threat of a nuclear war was very, very real. Jump cut. Sorry folks, yep, the battery ran out again. I really should make a point of making sure it's fully charged, but not to worry, not to worry. Yeah, so nuclear war, yeah, back in the 80s, the threat of a nuclear war was very real, to the point that, you know, the government was, have I noticed, did I have that zoomed in? I think I must have. Excuse me. Yeah, to the point that the government felt the need to put out all these public information films about what to do in the event of a nuclear war. If you're outside, you should lie face down. That's going to save you. If you're in the house, then you should build a shelter out of mattresses and suitcases, and also doors, which apparently is going to save you. So yeah, it was very, very, very real. Nowadays, I've been doing a bit of research, and they reckon that if a nuclear war was to happen now, they probably wouldn't even tell you. I don't know even if they would actually give you if you get the 4-minute warning. I mean, I think it's proven that these public information films were absolutely ludicrous. They were a lot of rubbish, but they put them out there to obviously kind of appease people. But anyway, yeah, getting back to where we are now, I think the old adage about crying wolf. If somebody says they're going to do something, if somebody threatens that they're going to do something to you, and they never do, and they continually threaten you, you know, they keep saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and they never ever do, then it gets to a point where you're like, yeah, whatever. And I think that's where I am with the Daily Telegraph's constant threats of a nuclear war. every single morning we're you better get ready for one, and it never happens. It's not to say it isn't going to happen. Personally, I don't think it will, because if it did happen, I think it would be the end of the world as we know it. Yeah. So yeah, gaming wise, like I said, I've been playing the Steam. In the news, Twitter, Elon Musk. Now, I don't really pay much attention to the news at all, and things like Twitter. Now, apparently, Elon Musk has said that people who want to have a blue tick must pay £8 a month. Now, I didn't have a clue what the hell they were talking about. I mean, blue tick, what's a blue tick? A blue tick is apparently verification that you are that person. So, in other words, I don't know. Let me think of somebody. Ed Sheeran, we'll take him for example. There's probably people out there who will pertain to being Ed Sheeran when they're not. And Ed Sheeran has probably got a Twitter account, and the way for people to know, or the way for Ed Sheeran to tell people that that is actually him and it's not somebody else, is to apply for this blue tick. And apparently Elon Musk is going to charge £8 a month, which sounds like a bizarre amount. I mean, it's I don't know. It's kind of, there's something wrong in the world when you're the most rich, the richest person in the world, and you're taking a service which people have been using for a long time. There's been no charging, and you're going to come along and start charging £8 a month. The people that are going to use that, £8 is nothing. I mean, what is? I don't understand. What is the purpose of him charging £8 a month? Don't get it. I really don't get it. But it's like all these things. If it gets to a point where they do start charging people to use Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, then people are just going to stop using it. And you know what? I'm actually one of these people that would actually think that's not a bad thing. I mean, I go on about social media all the time. I know it's a bit rich coming from somebody who's sitting making a video for YouTube. I don't have a problem with YouTube, because to me YouTube is like TV. It's programs, it's educational sometimes, there's things you watch. The social media that really hacks me off is, it's not even just social media, it's just smartphones in general. I mean, I was out with my girlfriend on was it last Saturday, last Friday, can't remember exactly. Was it Friday? Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was out with her, and we went for a game of pool, and there was a young couple sitting at a table, and the pair of them were glued to their phones. They were sitting next to each other, and they were both on their respective phones. And then at one point she came off the phone, and he was just had his head down in the phone for like 2 hours. We were playing pool for 2 hours, and she looked absolutely bored rigid because he wasn't talking to her. She was in her phone, and I don't know. I just think it's shit. It really is. Just kind of talking about smartphones and that. I did buy myself a Nokia. I think it's a 3310. Bought it second hand. Did I get it off Amazon? I think it was. Didn't cost me a lot of money. I've got a SIM in it. And when I was out last Friday, I went out with my mates for a few drinks. We ended up going to this kind of rock club, and the bouncer, or the guy, came up to collect the glasses, and he went, "Oh, is that yours, mate?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Oh, that's awesome. I've not seen one of these for years." And then he disappeared, and about 10 minutes later he came back with another bouncer. He's like, "Oh, go and show him your phone." Another guy wanted to see my phone. I think he was a younger guy, and the boy's like shaking my hand. I went, "Oh, that's brilliant." I've never ever had attention before because I had an old phone. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop going on about social media because I do go on about it all the time. It's something that really, I'm starting to really detest it, big style. Right, anyway, enough about that. Gaming wise, have I been playing anything else apart from Power Wash Simulator? Still playing it. I can't for the life of me figure out what is so addictive about the game. I think it does kind of tick my OCD when it comes to cleaning things. I suppose when you think about it, we've been playing games like that for years. I mean, you take like Amadar, where you've got to fill in squares, you're effectively colouring things in. And Power Wash Simulator is effectively that in reverse. You're instead of colouring something in, you're just washing dirt off things. It sounds ridiculous, it sounds pointless. It is pointless, but then, is any game not pointless? I think most video games are pointless. If it brings you pleasure, then what's the harm in it? And yeah, I can't get enough Power Wash Simulator. Try it if you get a chance to try it. If you've got Game Pass for your Xbox or your PC, you can play it for free. It's one of the free Game Pass games. Give it a go. But yeah, I've not been playing. I'm sitting here looking it down there. I mean, what have I got there? I've got my Switch. I was playing the Switch for quite a lot, and then for quite a while, and I've just kind of stopped using it. I've got my mini C64, I've got the big C64, I've got the Xbox, I've got the original Xbox as well. I should say the Xbox 360. I've got a mini Amiga, I've got my PC Engine, not my PC Engine, my PlayStation 4. I've got all these systems, and I've just not been playing them. I don't know. I'm a weird animal because I constantly go on about that I don't play stuff, and then I go and buy one of these. But I'm really starting to come around to the point that I think having too much in too many places. I mean, I've got all these different systems, and you've got to plug them in and all that kind of bollocks. Whereas I think if I just had my video games in one place, then I would probably be more likely to actually play it. I'm really seriously thinking about starting to get rid of stuff. And I mean, I've mentioned before, I am on the hunt for a mister. Hopefully I'll get it before long. One of my mates got his, and he loves it. He's been playing it. He's only had his a couple of weeks, and he absolutely loves it. So I think once I get the mister, I think I will seriously start to sell stuff. Please let me know if you're interested, and if you want me to kind of let you know what I'm selling, because there is going to be a lot of stuff. I'm going to sell stuff even like my Atari 800, you know, things that have been like the holy grail for such a long time. But I'm at that point now, is what is the purpose of hanging on to these? I know there's people who are probably starting off collecting stuff, and when you get into the hobby for the first time, you want to amass as much stuff as possible, and I've done that. I've had all the systems. All the obscure systems like the Sword M5. I wanted one of these for like 40 years. I got it, and I never ever played it, and I've since sold it. But yeah, I'm getting a bit. I'm starting to drown in hardware and the ability. I mean, I'm looking down there. There's one of these. What's it called? Raspberry Pi. Is it 400s, 4000s? I mean, I bought that. Never use it. Never ever use it. I've got my Raspberry Pi arcade stick underneath there. It's got every kind of game under the sun. I don't know why I'm moaning. I'm just moaning constantly, and I've got a YouTube channel, and yet all about video games, and yet I very rarely play them. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, apologies about this waffle. I've just realised when I'm making these sometimes, I just think that is shit. you know, I'm quite tired actually. I probably look at it. I've got big bags under my eyes. It's quite late at night. It's Thursday. I'm recording this, so I'm yeah. Apologies for it being a bit crap. Like I says, let me know what you think of the waffle. Should I continue to do it? I think what I'll do is I will keep it going if the general consensus is it's ran its course. Then what I'll probably do is keep it going for like 10 years and then just go cut it. It might be that it's something that I'll do on the odd occasion when I can be bothered, rather than having it, you know, I've got to do it. And that's the thing, it is a thing, you know, when I'm going out on a Friday, I think I've got to get the waffle done, and it does become a bit of a kind of noose round my neck. Yeah, let me know. Right, listen, I'm really conscious that this is a shit waffle, because I've not really made any effort to actually come up with stuff, so I'm going to have a quick wee look and see, is this going to work? No, it's not going to work. I don't know what, no, it's not working. Right, let me just jump into YouTube and look at last week's thing. Where are we? Your videos. Right, Friday Waffle from last week. I don't know if there's any questions. I'll have a quick wee squint. Right, Ian Hunter is saying here he's looking forward to the famous Mainmeister Lawn Boys posting 1975 alien abduction camping trip. Don't tell them anything no matter how much they probe you. Yeah, I was mentioning about my mate Dave. I've not spoken to Dave for a wee while, but we've been threatening, or he's been threatening to come up here for such a long time, and I think I'm going to have to drive down to Bristol and drag his sorry arse up here and get this thing done. Wee Bob Art. Great to watch along, but as YouTube takes an age to upload HD, sometimes this was watched back with the fuzzy goggles on. Your voice sounded the same as mine after a night on the pints. Only ever happens when I'm on the pints. Cheers for answering my non-question. On the camera issue and space on your PC, yes, my rendering process has stopped working mid-video due to lack of space in the drive. I had this last week and it took me 3 attempts before I realised I didn't have any space left. I don't have a question this week as my brain is not working. Hope you have a great rest of your weekend. Thank you very much, Bob. Right, nice to see Dale Boy back again. If you could go back in time and you were allowed to watch one Laurel and Hardy film being made, which film would you like it to be and why? After the film is in the can, you're allowed to ask Mr. Laurel and Mr. Hardy one question each. What would be the question and why? Good luck, Mainmeister, and all that you do, and have a happy fireworks night, tongue in cheek on that one. Thank you very much, Dale. I'm not a massive fan of Laurel and Hardy films, but I'm trying to think. I mean, I love Laurel and Hardy, I really do. All the shots. In fact, I'm just trying to see where. There we go. Oh my god, I can't even read this. Right, let me think. You know what? There's so many classics, but one of my favourite sketches, the one bit of it, is the one, I can't even remember the name of it, where Oliver Hardy's in hospital. He's broken his foot, I think it is, and Stan Laurel goes to visit him, and then when he gets in, Oliver Hardy says, it's really nice of you to come along and visit me. And then he said that he was bored and had nothing else to do. And then it cuts to Oliver Hardy and he's got that expression where he's just kind of stares at the camera. And then he goes, what's that in your bag? Have you got me some candy? And he went, no. He says, I've got you some boiled eggs and nuts. And he's like, boiled eggs and nuts? It's just... You need to watch it. It's the comic timing of these guys is just absolutely priceless. I mean, there's so many. I mean, it's like when somebody asks you a question, your brain completely goes. You forget everything. Another one of my favourite ones is the one where Oliver Hardy's got gout, and the doctor comes to see him, and he recommends that they go and get fresh air, and they drink water and lots of it, and they hire a caravan thing, or they borrow a caravan and they go up into the hills, and just before they get to the sort of spot that they're going to be camping at or parking at, there's a kind of shootout, and this was during the Prohibition when alcohol was illegal, and the guys pour all the alcohol down the well, and of course when Stan and Laurel get there, they're bringing up all the water out of the well, and they get pished. But yeah, just there are so many absolutely classics. I mean, I'm just looking here. I mean, it doesn't actually tell you. Yeah, I'm just trying. I don't know how many shorts they made. I mean, you're probably talking. I reckon you're probably talking about, I don't know, 50, something like that. Plus, they made this box set contains 20 classic Laurel and Hardy films and various shorts. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. If I could ask them both one question. Now, I know Dale has said in the past that when he gets asked a question, he'll read the question and then he'll spend the rest of the day thinking about an answer, so that when he comes to record his blog, he's got a good answer. I don't do that. I'm not that prepared. I read these questions and try and answer them right away. I'm trying to think. I think it would be nice. It doesn't really matter what one. It would be nice to ask them what it was like to be making films back then. How did it feel? That's more than one question. How did it feel? Were they aware of the? Were they aware? No, this is a question that I'd be asking them if they were alive now. And what I was going to say was, were they aware at the time, back in the 1920s, that what they were making was still going to be enjoyed, 100 years later? No, I think if it was back in the day, I'd probably ask them what was their favourite short and why. And I think the other one would be who influenced, have they got any sort of like comedy hero, what was their influences? I'm assuming they're going to say, Charlie Chaplin, was he before Harold Lloyd? I think Harold Lloyd was before Laurel and Hardy, so it'd be interesting to know, like Buster Keaton as well. Interesting to know what that would be, who their hero would be. But anyway, listen, that's a pish answer for a good question. And thanks again, Dale, I do appreciate it, buddy. And the last one from Milthy Swinbuckle, this is always an absolute doozy. Do you think that programmers who develop a port of a game for a system from the arcades or from older systems and port the exact same game from scratch onto another system are missing a trick? I'd have thought that if you've gone to all the trouble of designing a game so that it's exactly like the game you're copying, it's a bit of a waste. I'm going to read that again, Milfy. Do you think that programmers who develop a port of a game for a system from arcades or from an older system and port the exact... I don't know, Milfy. I think... See, here's the thing. If you play a good game, whether it's an arcade game or whether as a C64 owner you play a Spectrum game that you think, oh, that's great, you want that same experience on your computer. And you know, I was always disappointed when they announced that an arcade game, an arcade port, was coming out for like the C64, and when it came out, it wasn't exact. You knew that it was never going to be exactly like the arcade. Obviously not, because the hardware is inferior. But when they changed the levels or the game was nothing like it, I always felt disappointed. And when I've been making all these Arcade Perfect my arses, any game that came out for the NES, invariably they would change it, they would change the graphics, they would have extra features. And to my mind, it was, you were spoiling it, you were taking, it's like getting a recipe for your favourite cake, and then you decide you're going to add extra chocolate or you're going to add whipped cream and whatever, you end up spoiling it. So I think it's all dependent on the actual game. You know, if you could take a game that maybe wasn't that great and decide, right, I'm going to add maybe a couple extra levels, or I'm going to tweak it a wee bit, try and take out the bits that didn't make it such a good game and enhance it. You know, we've all seen it, you know, with films as well. They'll take maybe a simple plot for a film and then they'll try and overly complicate it. So I think it really depends. It depends on what the original was like. I mean, if you're wanting an Arcade Perfect Defender, you want an Arcade Perfect Defender. You don't want them to add in cloaking devices or, you know, little drones or whatever. You don't want that. So I think it depends on the game. I mean, there's been some games that have come out and then they've what do you call it? They've added to it when they've brought out a sequel, or they've maybe ported it across a different system, added bits, and somebody's made it a better game. So I think it all really depends on the game, Milfy. Yeah, why not take that engine you've created, and once you've made the original game, then make another game with the same engine and put your own spin in it? For example, Devil's Temple does this to some degree. The programmer could have just made a straight up port of Kung Fu Master, but instead made something unique, adding to the game that inspired it, instead of just producing yet another remake of an old classic that can now be played easily through emulation. Yeah, absolutely great point. I mean, Graham Cowie has absolutely nailed Devil's Temple. If you have not played it yet, it is now officially out there. You can go and get yourself the big box version of it, or you can pay for a digital download. I've completely forgotten all about that until you mentioned that game there. Funky, I know I'm going a bit all the time, but FunkySpectrum, George, you know who he is. He has done it's not a review, he did do a review of Devil's Temple a few weeks ago, but he's put out another video, and there's an Easter egg in it, and one of the end bosses at the end of the level is Top Hat Gamer, and I think it's Lady Decade as well, and it's absolutely hilarious. I will put a link to George's video down below. If you're only going to watch one video this week, make sure it's that one. George is an absolute genius, he really is. He cracks me up. You just have to look at the comments in his videos. He's on a different level from everybody else. I mean, I think I'm right in saying that George's subscribers in the last sort of month or so have just rocketed. I think I think he might be on more than me now. I think just a couple of weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago, he was on maybe 2,000. He's effectively doubled his subscribership, and it's absolutely deserved, because George is that much needed boost of originality into the YouTube community. He's fantastic. But and I spoke to Graham Cowie and I said, "Is that in the main game?" He went, "Yeah." He says he couldn't resist it, but I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go and when this video finishes, and it's going to be finishing in a few minutes, go and watch George's video down below. It is absolutely hilarious. It really, really is. Anyway, listen, apologies about kind of lack of content this week. I think I've only done the one, which was the 8 games that came out in the Amiga, which you probably didn't know. I've got a few other similar kind of videos like that I'm going to... I just need to make an effort and get them out. I've got quite a few Blimey It's Onlys I need to sit down and get recorded as well. I was actually thinking about, I was coming down from Aberdeen, when was it? Today actually, and listening to a few podcasts, and I was just wondering, would anybody be interested in if I was to do like a weekly podcast? I know you're probably thinking, well, you can make a video as well as make a podcast, but I don't know, podcasts are different. I think when you're making videos, you're conscious you've got to kind of make something for the viewer to look at, whereas a podcast is just talking. Let me know what you think. I mean, how many people watch or listen to my Friday Waffle podcast? I think Del Boy does it when he goes out for his walk. I think he always watches it or listens to it. I'm interested to know what you guys think. Would there be mileage making a podcast? What do you think? Maybe the Blimey It's Only should actually be done as a podcast. I don't know. I'll need to think about it. But anyway, listen guys, I've been twattling on quite enough. Apologies about a pretty piss poor Friday Waffle. I'm always really self-critical with these. And sometimes I think when you're not in the mood or you're too tired, it would almost be better to not record them, but I always like to try and get them put out there. But again, let me know what you think. Should the waffle continue, or is it time to put it to bed? All the best TV programmes, your Only Fools and Horses, they all have a limited shelf life. You get to a point you're thinking, right, it's time to retire it. Maybe my Friday Waffle should be put out to grass. Let me know what you think, guys. I will be along, as always, Sunday night, 7 o'clock until 9. Have a great weekend, and as always, thank you very, very much for watching. See you.